Hello, this is the Khan, and today we'll be talking about one important subject in America, paid family and medical leave, what the research shows about it, and what to do with that research. So I was looking at some research the other day because paid family leave has become one of those topics that everyone seems to argue about. Some people say it's essential, absolutely necessary, while others say it's too expensive, bad for business, all sounds good, but does not really work. And then I realized something. I've heard a lot of opinions. Everybody has peace of mind to say, but I never really looked at the evidence myself. So I sat down, I did some research using all my PhD research, that skills, and I read a number of large research reviews that pulled together decades of studies from the US and from other countries. And what surprised me the most wasn't that the findings were complicated. What surprised me was how consistent they were. They were really consistent. So what is paid family or medical leave? Paid family or medical leave, often called PFML, means the ability to take time off work when something major happens in your life. That could be having a baby, caring for a sick child, helping an aging parent, or dealing even with serious health issues. In the United States, only federal law we have is unpaid leave. And only about half of workers even qualify for that. There are so many stipulations that you need to qualify for to even qualify for unpaid leave. As of now, only a limited number of states offer paid medical and family leave programs. Most workers in the country still don't have access to the paid leave when they need it the most. So what happens? Think about the effects on babies and parents. The strongest evidence in the research focuses on what happens when parents have paid leave after a child is born. Across dozens of studies in Europe, Canada, and the US, states like California, the pattern is very clear. Paid leave is linked to healthier babies. This includes lower infant mortality, higher birth weights. The children tend to weigh more when the parents have leave. There's more breastfeeding because the mothers are able to stay at home and help out, or the father's able to, feed the babies at home. And then fewer hospital visits in the first year of their life. Think about it. Fewer hospital visits. Now, this isn't just about parents or children. Parents benefit a lot, a whole lot. Mothers with access to paid leave consistently show better mental health and lower rates of postpartum depression. We've been talking about mental health earlier. Now, when researchers talk about better health, what they really mean is fewer emergencies, fewer complications, and fewer families being pushed into crisis during an already stressful time, which is when there's a child or there's an issue. Now, what happens to fathers, one may ask? One part of the research that really stood out to me was the role of fathers. When paid leave is made available to dads, they actually take it. And when fathers take leave, studies find that not just for fathers themselves, but for mothers too. Some research even links fathers' leave taking to better long-term outcomes for children, like improved school performance years later. So basically, if your father stays at home, it's most likely they're going to be more intelligent. That's what the research says. That's not my opinion. Importantly, the evidence does not show that taking reasonable amounts of leave harms fathers, long-term employment, or even their earnings. So if you think leaving work is for your kids or your family is going to affect your earnings, that's not what the studies show. Also, think about it. Caring for sick children is one of the major reasons why paid leave should be taken. It's not just for newborns. Parents also need time when children are seriously sick, whether chronic illness, hospital stays, long-term recoveries, they got hurt, something happens, they got the flu, parents need time off. There's less research here, but what we do have points in the same direction. Parents who take time off are more likely to be actually there for the child, and they report better health for both the child and themselves. One major issue the research highlights is awareness. Many parents don't use paid leave simply because they don't know they have it or that they are eligible, especially during emergencies. Now we have to look at elder care and adult family members. A lot of people have to help their parents, grandparents. And this is a research aspect that really stood out to me. Millions of people in the US are caring for aging parents. You might have a grandmother, a father, a grandpa who's maybe 80 years, 90 years old, or maybe disabled, they're in a wheelchair. Comparing that, trying to take care of them and stay employed. And studies of paid leave programs show that access to paid leave helps the caregivers, which may be a daughter or a son or whatever, stay in the workforce despite being able to, and rather than being able to quit, for example, right? So they can stay. And then there's also evidence that shows that paid leave reduces nursing home use and lowers public healthcare spending. So the government is going to save more. We don't have to pay for nursing homes. So paid leave doesn't just help families, it reduces broader social economic costs as well. So one question that people always ask, does paid leave hurt employers? This is usually where people expect a negative, or from the research, maybe a negative outcome, but it doesn't. Actually, a study shows the opposite. Surveys from employers in states like California, New York, and New Jersey find no evidence that paid leave hurts productivity, profitability, or even employee performance. In many cases, employers report that neutral or even positive effects. So it just means that no change, or maybe the people come back even stronger or with more morale, more employee commitment, and it's actually easier to manage absences, right? So that's one thing we're looking at. Another interesting finding was that employer support for paid leave increased during COVID-19 pandemic. So based on all of this, what have we learned? After reading all this research, I kept thinking to myself, what it actually means in real life. Not just policy debates, but for people making right decisions. If you're an employer or a caregiver, what should be your biggest takeaway? I have a few things to share with you. The research consistently shows that better health comes during major life events, and there is no strong evidence that short reasonable leave harms long-term careers. So basically, take your short-time leave, take your PTO, do not let it go. It's not going to harm your long-term career. One very practical thing you can also do or learn is what you're eligible for before the crisis happens. So take stock at the beginning of the year, find out how much time you have, because a lot of people just miss out because they just don't have the information. They don't have the knowledge, so they miss out. Now, for new parents, for example, or parents in general, there's strong evidence that paid leave isn't just about bonding. It's associated with healthier babies, better mental health for parents, and if both parents have access to leave, it's worth thinking of how to share it. Fathers taking leave isn't symbolic. It matters. Do not think only your wife should take a leave or a mother should take a leave. Fathers should also take leave. Now, for caregivers of older adults, paid leave can be a difference between staying employed or being forced out of the workforce. Even short periods of leave can stabilize work and income during crisis. Let's say you are an employer, a manager. Research says a clear message. The research says it clearly. Paid leave does not harm businesses. And in many cases, it actually improves retention, improves the morale, and long-term stability. Clear communication and planning matter more than restricting access. So as long as they come to you earlier, you should be fine with giving them their PTO or their leave or their paid leave, whatever, FMLA, whatever it is, ahead of time. So when you take a step back and look at all this together, the takeaway is surprisingly straightforward. Paid medical leave improves health, supports families, helps caregivers stay employed, and does not appear to impose major costs on employers. The debate around paid leave is often louder than the evidence. But at this point, we know enough to make better decisions at the individual level, the workplace level, and the policy level. Remember, paid leave, it's important. The evidence shows it. It does not affect your career. It does not affect employee performance, whatever, it doesn't. People actually come out better when they take leave. rather than. So employers should not try and restrict people, and people should do the research, find out how much leave they have, and take it. This has been The Con. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.